In an exciting story, a man finds himself unwillingly propelled into a position of power when he is forced to take on the role of lord over an unstoppable fleet. This turns out to be quite the adventure. As the degree of his disquiet rises, he is forced to steer his way through the perilous seas of leadership, where he must confront unexpected obstacles and struggle with the burden of his newly acquired authority. Will he step up to the challenge or fall under the weight of the expectation? In this riveting cinematic adventure, the outcome can only be determined by time. In a country that is torn apart by religious turmoil, a king's unyielding rejection of the faith of his subjects becomes the impetus for an uprising that is just beginning to take shape. Commander Vaako seizes a chance to gain the highly coveted title of Lord in a high-stakes power move. In order to solidify his newly acquired position, he engages in a risky negotiation with the incumbent Lord and presents him with an enticing deal. In return for Vaako's unwavering support, Vaako reveals the long-secret location of the legendary planet Furia, but that's not all. He sweetens the bargain by providing a wonderful vessel for the Lord to travel in so that he might see this mysterious world. As the level of stress increases, the futures of both of these guys are up in the air, which sets the stage for an epic trip into the unknown. In a world rife with deceit and peril, Vaako discovers an unusual ally in the mysterious crone, who helps him fight back against his enemies. They decide to take on the risky adventure together, in order to forge a way towards their common goal of reaching their destiny. As they make their way through a web of deceit and betrayal, Vaako will need to use all of his might and ingenuity to lead the way towards their destination. A fearless leader and his devoted team of troops undertake a treacherous expedition to a desolate planet in a faraway galaxy. A man finds himself unable to escape from a world that is not his own in the gripping story of his struggle to stay alive. The assassins are persistent, and he must defend himself against them in order to keep his life. Danger lurks around every corner. In an effort to break free, he faces up against his adversaries one at a time, eliminating his escort in the process. He is armed with tenacity and the will to survive. Will he be able to outwit and outlive those who are trying to capture or kill him, or will he give in to the forces that are working to eliminate him? In this tense struggle for existence, only time will tell how things will turn out. Crone's careless behavior precipitated a chain reaction, which thrust him into a tense and frantic race against the clock, which was an exciting twist in the sequence of events. As anarchy reigns, a huge landslide engulfs him, trapping him beneath tons of merciless dirt and forcing him to battle for his life. He is struggling to survive. In the wake of a cataclysmic disaster, our hardy protagonist crawls out from the rubble, their body mangled and one of their legs broken. Our stalwart protagonist must travel perilous terrain and engage in combat with a wide variety of dangerous adversaries in order to prevail in the face of adversity. He is armed with unyielding tenacity, and he carefully repairs to his fractured limb, applying his creativity to fix and secure it with a handmade splint. His determination is unrelenting, but his ordeal is far from finished as he finds himself caught in a never-ending battle against a horde of vulture-like monsters, the threatening wings of which cast foreboding shadows. Unfazed, he must also defend himself against swarms of water organisms that resemble vipers and have venom, the presence of which threatens to overwhelm him. And just when he thinks he has vanquished everything, he comes face to face with groups of jackal-like monsters whose savagery is equaled only by their unquenchable thirst. Will the unyielding determination of our hero be sufficient to prevail over these treacherous obstacles? In this riveting story of overcoming adversity and survival, only time will tell how things turn out. A troubled person sets out on a journey to an ancient edifice that has been neglected with the purpose of finding consolation and sanctuary from the inner turmoil they are experiencing. They hope to find solace within the structure's empty walls. In an exciting journey, our fearless protagonist stumbles upon perilous rocky cliffs, only to uncover a stunning secret, a majestic savanna waiting for them to explore it. This discovery is the highlight of the adventure. A band of courageous explorers find themselves in the precarious position of having to overcome a challenge in the midst of an unsafe environment. Their path is obstructed by dangerous mud demons, which are monsters that resemble scorpions and lurk in murky puddles. They have no choice but to go head-to-head with these dangerous beasts if they want to reach their target. Will they be able to prevail over the perilous landscape and escape victorious, or will they give in to the wrath of the mud demons and fail? The course that their trip will take is currently up in the air. In a planet that is beset by the wrath of mud demons, a hardy man finds out that he has an astonishing ability. He is immune to their lethal venom. While he is still getting the hang of this newly discovered power, he decides to go on a dangerous expedition expedition, with nothing but his wits and a variety of makeshift melee weapons for protection. In order for him to survive the fight against the powers of darkness, he must rely on his ingenuity and his willpower. Is he going to be successful in vanquishing the mud demons and bringing peace back to the land? In this riveting story about defiance and survival, only time will tell how things turn out. In the midst of his travels, he finds himself tending to and directing the development of a small jackal beast pup. The invincible combination emerges victorious from a tense confrontation with the unrelenting mud demons, so clearing the path for their long-awaited arrival to the expansive savanna. A solitary man on a world that is beset by unending storms discovers a horrible truth. Every storm lets loose a tenacious horde of demons that are determined to cause destruction. The relentless rain provides these evil creatures with the energy they need to thrive, and they feed off of the moisture that sustains life. Now, he is forced to face the horrific fact that the storms he previously sought shelter from are the catalyst for an endless onslaught of demonic forces. This is something that he has always found difficult to accept. Within a desolate mercenary outpost, our main character musters the courage to take a dangerous gamble in order to make a last-ditch effort to win his release. He does this by activating an emergency distress signal. He has no idea that by making such a rash decision, he has just divulged to everyone on the entire planet his exact identity, as well as the particular location he is currently at. Now, he is forced to face the repercussions of his actions and devise a strategy to outwit those who are attempting to capture him in order to escape. Will he be able to avoid being apprehended and regain his liberty, or will the hasty choice that he made determine the course of his life? The time limit is rapidly approaching, and the stakes have never been more important. Two spaceships embark on an exciting trip across the cosmos when they answer the call of a desperate distress signal. A risky mission is taken on by a misfit crew of inexperienced bounty hunters who are guided by the unpredictability of Santana. In the meantime, on the other ship, Boss Johns has his fearsome crew of battle-hardened mercenaries getting ready to face the unknown. They are being commanded by the skilled captain. These two parties will need to traverse perilous seas in order to combat a common foe, which is causing tensions to escalate and danger to lie around every corner. In the face of a tremendous challenge, will their disparate abilities and personalities cause friction or bring them closer together? In this heart-pounding story about surviving against the odds and finding atonement, only time will tell. Riddick, a powerful guy, is the protagonist of an exciting science fiction story in which he unleashes a horrifying blood message that causes shockwaves to go across a bunch of mercenaries. He gives them a lethal ultimatum and asks that they hand over one of their treasured ships, which compels them to attempt an audacious breakout from the planet. The mercenaries find themselves in a fight for their lives against an unrelenting force as the tension in the situation escalates and the stakes reach a critical level. Will they ditch their ship and try to escape, or will they confront Riddick's wrath head-on in order to survive? As a result of the sad events that transpired on that fatal night, Santana was left with no other option but to grudgingly join forces with Johns. Rubio, Nunez, and Falco all met their untimely deaths. Riddick pulls out a daring and devious robbery in which he steals power nodes from each and every ship in the team's fleet. As the level of tension reaches its pinnacle, he courageously confronts Johns and Santana in an effort to negotiate a solution that will ensure both of their safe return. A seemingly mundane conversation suddenly takes a perilous turn, and before you know it, you're in the middle of a heart-pounding ambush. This is a fascinating turn of events. Riddick receives a substantial dose of tranquilizers out of the blue from Dahl, who is John's devoted subordinate. This comes as a stunning turn of events. In this exciting science fiction story, Riddick's loyal alien companion, a vicious jackal, does its best to guard its human master. However, catastrophe strikes when Santana mercilessly targets the jackal, leaving it critically injured with numerous bullet wounds to the throat. Santana's actions result in the jackal's death. John has a confrontation with the mysterious Riddick in a seedy Merc station. He is looking for answers concerning the course that will ultimately be taken by his son, William J. Johns. A dreadful danger emerges from the depths of the ground in the midst of a tremendous storm to cause mayhem and destruction. The fearsome mud demons bring their wrath down upon a station that was not prepared for them. They are cruel and persistent. Lockspur and Moss, two brave defenders, both met their untimely deaths at the hands of this treacherous onslaught, which resulted in a tragic turn of events. Johns makes a bold deal with the mysterious Riddick while they are both playing a high-stakes game of survival. Due to the fact that their freedom is in jeopardy, they band together in an improbable coalition in order to locate the evasive power cells that hold the secret to determining their futures. Santana embarks on a quest to destroy Riddick, a man whose value lay more in his demise than in his continued living, in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Riddick's worth resides in the fact that he is worth more dead than alive. Riddick, the protagonist of this high-octane tale of vengeance, undertakes a dangerous expedition in order to get revenge for the untimely death of his cherished pet. He sets his eyes with unyielding resolve on Santana, a merciless mercenary, and metes out a chilling punishment by amputating Santana's head. As our heroes make their way towards the vessel that is housing the coveted hover motorcycles, they find themselves in the middle of an exciting pursuit that quickly escalates into a life-or-death showdown. It is a terrible irony that despite their heroic efforts, Vargas was taken from them far too soon. Johns, Santana's trustworthy confidant Diaz, and the fearless Riddick embark on a risky expedition to acquire the coveted power nodes in this high-stakes adventure. They courageously travel beyond the shelter of their ship on their hover motorcycles, ready to take on any obstacles that may lie ahead of them. During the course of their incredible trip, Diaz makes a reckless error that results in a moment that will stop your heart when John's bike teeters on the edge of the cliff, eventually leading to a crash that will end their lives. Riddick, as a result of an exciting turn of events, undertakes a perilous quest to rescue him. Riddick confides in Johns about his dark history, revealing how he overcame adversity and found redemption in the process. Riddick breaks down in tears as he tells the group the harrowing tale of his son's fight against an addiction to morphine just before they reach the power nodes. But that's not all. He also describes a terrifying episode from when they were marooned on a hostile planet years ago, where a youngster was brazenly used as bait. He says that it happened when they were on the planet by themselves. Prepare yourself for an exciting adventure that will take you to the lowest depths of misery and the furthest reaches of the search for justice. Diaz devises a cunning plan to destroy the fearsome team of Riddick and Johns in a frantic race against time, capturing the perfect opportunity while they are concerned with other things. Riddick finds himself in a fight to the death during a tense confrontation, but he manages to emerge victorious in spite of the overwhelming odds. Nevertheless, as things are heated up, he makes a mistake that results in irreversible damage being done to the lone hoverbike that is still operating, which Diaz had previously rendered inoperable. Riddick and Boss Johns are engaged in a frantic race against time as they desperately make their way back to the station. They find themselves opposed against a relentless army of demons as they make their way back. Riddick finds himself in the terrifying position of having to deal with a life-threatening injury, which in turn sets the stage for an epic journey of overcoming adversity and finding redemption. Riddick is abandoned and left to fend for himself after John, in a startling turn of events, betrays him and causes him to lose all loyalty to his former ally. Riddick is left defenseless and without a way to save himself after John deftly blocks both escape routes with his ingenuity and precision. Riddick, a warrior who has been severely injured, finds himself embroiled in a terrifying conflict with unrelenting demons during the course of an exciting fight for survival. An exciting conclusion occurs as John swoops in on a gallant vessel and unleashes a volley of gunfire to repel the dangerous critters. This courageous deed opens the door for Dahl to execute a daring descent and save Riddick from imminent danger. Riddick's life takes an exciting turn when he finds himself in command of a second spacecraft and feverishly plots his escape from the perilous planet. However, just as he is beginning to feel some glimmer of hope, Johns, who is following on his tail, swoops in with yet another fearsome vessel, unexpectedly interrupting the plans he had laid out. When John presses Riddick for information on where he is going, he finds himself in the middle of an intriguing plot filled with intrigue and suspense. John finds himself entangled in a web of interest. However, as the story progresses, John's determination begins to falter, and in the end, he chooses to accept the mystery rather than seek answers to the concerns he has raised. Is he going to put himself in harm's way by making this decision, or will it set him free? In this enthralling cinematic adventure, the outcome can only be determined by time. Riddick, a tough warrior, finds himself acknowledging the superiority of Johns, a guy he considers more worthy than his own kid, during the course of an exciting journey through space. Riddick sets out on an epic cosmic mission, traveling into the deep unknown in search of the mythical planet Furia, fueled by an insatiable need.